Hey, buddy, do you like NASCAR? Do you like A Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative podcast.
Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
3, 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. It is the weekly wrap-up. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, with you in the building. This Saturday, we are lucky to have with us illustrious guest of the show, CEO of Interbank Strategies, my man Dennis English in the building. What's good, Dennis?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. What's up, my brother?
Man, I'm good. Hopefully you are enjoying your Easter weekend. You got your festivities lined up and all that good stuff. Easter egg hunting, as it were, and all that.
My seersucker ready to go, baby.
There it goes. There it goes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you haven't done so already, tuconservative.com is the website to support what we do here at the Urban Conservative. Look, man, we're going to jump right in. Where I want to start with this weekly wrap up, Dennis, is we have had a budget pass in North Carolina. These two guys right here, Speaker of the House, Destin Hall, Senate Pro Tem, Bill Berger, Senate budget, House budgets are out. What do we got? Talk to us about the North Carolina state budget, man. What do you like? What do you don't like?
Man, look, at the end of the day, we have probably more money going out to hurricane relief for Asheville and that area than our state budget. I mean, it's a lot. And I really had to kind of look at it, it's you only get an idea of, a small bit from the news of what happened over in the western part of our state. We don't know the half. Now I'm seeing numbers and how much money has to go towards helping that area recover. And I mean, we're talking billions, bro, billions. Our budget, and I was looking at some numbers, man. I mean, insanely like so Hurricane Helene cost North Carolina estimated $53 billion in damages.
Mm.
I don't think those numbers even fathom to the average American or North Carolina citizen. I mean, the homes, the infrastructure damage, the losses. I mean, it comes down to really us trying to, unless you're a legislator and you have to look at these numbers on a daily basis, you really don't know, right?
So what you said was that they're going to spend more money on Hurricane Helene than the actual state budget.
over time.
Okay.
I mean, it ain't
Okay.
gonna happen
I'm with you.
overnight. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? I mean, it's just it's an estimated cost of 53, right? And so as I'm looking this up, I mean, it's gonna take certain budgets to do it, but I think we've got a good handle on what the Senate has agreed on, right?
Okay.
And people can spend all the time they want, I mean, to really look at what the numbers are, but billions. And so I would say that in lieu of the hurricane recovery efforts, we have the Senate also reducing taxes, which is also interesting because, you know, when you're, you know, putting money towards recovery on a hurricane disaster and you're also reducing taxes, that means that, what does that mean, right? I mean, we got to look at all, and they're also making sure our rainy day fund is not going to be deplenished.
Okay, that's what I was, because Republicans in North Carolina did a really good job of making sure that we had money in the bank, reserve money.
Right.
So you're saying this budget will allow for there to still be a rainy day fund.
Right. They're not these guys are being very, very conservative around looking at the whole house, like taking care of the people of North Carolina, making sure there's no tax burden, and also making sure that our folks in the western part of the state are getting the funds they need, while at the same time, if another hurricane hits North Carolina, because you got to keep that in mind, right? As a state legislator, right? These are the type of things that keep you up at night, right? Hurricane season ain't stopping. So if North Carolina gets hit on the eastern side of the state, bro, and if we don't have the funding in our reserves, we're so don't get emotional when we're deciding to cut X amount of thousands of positions that are being held up, that aren't opening in the state, right? Jobs that aren't being filled, things that are not being done. I mean, positions that are being cut. You know, I get it. It's emotional. There's opportunity to always, like, you know, get caught up in, you know, what's happening as far as jobs being lost. I get it.
Right.
And I'm always going to be empathetic. So I'm
But
conservative, right? But I'm also somebody who also understands business, fiscal responsibility.
all right. So check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Berger, Senate Pro Tem in North Carolina, had a quick video talking about the North Carolina budget. Let's take a listen to this.
The first year of the biennium, the budget is about $32.6 billion. Second year, $33.3 billion. That's modest growth, but it is growth. It allows us to replenish the rainy day fund, address our most pressing needs, including Hurricane Helene recovery, increase salaries for most state employees and teachers, and further cut taxes for all North Carolinians. The budget makes a concerted effort to target funds to areas with the most pressing workforce shortages. Most state employees will receive an across the board 1.25% raise in the first year of the biennium and over the course of the biennium.
Interesting. So you got Phil Berger coming out saying we're going to get some tax cuts. Teachers are going to get a raise. So there goes that. Republicans aren't raising the teacher salary. That's out the window. He said they're doing that. And you're going to see raises for state employees. So overall, Dennis, because I know you got to get, but overall, from on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what do you get this budget?
I mean, it's obviously, it's never going to be perfect, right? I mean, nobody's going to get everything they want. But 7, I'm a 7 guy. I think 7 because you're looking at, for me personally, I always like to give teachers more money, right? I think at the end of the day, I'm always going to advocate in that area because education for me is a passion, and I believe that when we don't have the right teachers really getting the type of money they need economically, we're going to see some struggles in that space. And so I'm going to always advocate for teachers. But I think with the amount of money we have coming in and going out, I think that's why Republican legislators have been winning year after year after year, because of the fiscal responsibility and understanding how to manage this budget. We haven't ran a deficit. In lieu of some hurricanes and what really damages the budget, what he said was, we're going to make sure we have a rainy day fund. All that is to say, when the next hurricane hit, because it's coming, we see how the hurricanes are coming in. North Carolina is going to have money in its coffers, period. And so I think understanding how to run a fiscally responsible budget is what North Carolina truly appreciets. Now, governor-wise, that's a whole nother conversation.
Hey, listen.
We can have that conversation for a different day, right? But we know from a North Carolina state budget, we like to have a fiscally responsible budget. And this one right here, he just said $60 billion. I mean, it's going down. So we could unpack that.
All right, dope. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been kicking it with Dennis, good friend of the show. We've got some major announcements coming up. I think we're going to make that announcement next week on the weekly wrap up. I'm excited about that. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned right here to the Urban Conservative. We got a few more things we're going to go over for this week. My brother Dennis, you have a blessed Easter holiday. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. It's the weekly wrap up here on the Urban Conservative.
Carry Discount and Capital Appliance Repair is your trusted partner for appliance repairs and home services. When you're dealing with a malfunctioning refrigerator, dishwasher, washer, or dryer, we have the expertise to keep you running smooth. Visit us online or call 919-468-5860 today for Carry Discount and Capital Appliance Repair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back. Your boy Abdul Ali rocking with you here on the Urban Conservative. This is the weekly wrap up. We're kind of going over some of the things that have happened this week. If there's something you need us to cover, jump in the comment section. Be more than glad to pull that up and see what you want us to cover. But here's the bottom line. Your man, Stephen Miller, did an amazing job of schooling the media again when it comes to talking about this illegal alien, violent MS-13 domestic violence guy overseas. This went down this week. You had to see it. Y'all take a listen to this.
Is the president going to ask for him to be returned to the United States or not? Like, yes or no?
Let me ask you, what do you think would happen to him if he came back to this country? As your understanding of immigration laws, what do you think would happen?
But I'm just asking
it's important to know. About whether you're asking a lot of questions. The president, you are all asking a lot of questions about this, and you all seem to care about it a lot. So let's see if any of you who've researched anything about this issue at all. Can anyone here tell me what would happen to the illegal alien from El Salvador if he came back to the United States? Does anyone here know? Does anyone want to guess? Any of you?
He could be with his family.
Do you know the difference between a deportation order and a withholding order? Do you know the difference? Any of you, please. Do you?
Well, we're not in the government.
But you couldn't even spend 72 hours over the weekend learning the distinction. You've been writing and talking about it this whole time. What I'm getting from this conversation, which is educational for me, is that not one person in the media knows the difference between a deportation order and a withholding order. Is that a fair statement? You're learning about this all for the first time right now? I guess so. Okay. So the deportation order means the judge has said he must be deported from the country. He has no right to remain here any longer. He must be removed from the country. So his only options are to be deported to his home country or another country. That's it. There's no other option. He doesn't get to stay here. He doesn't get to live here. He has no future here. He has no right to be here. He's an illegal alien. So when you keep saying return, because you've been spun up by the open borders advocates, you all seem to be operating under the illusion that he would be able to come to the United States and just continue to live here illegally. That's not an option available to him. His only choices in life are to live in El Salvador or to live in another country. That's it. There's no other option, legally or otherwise, because he came to our country illegally. Do you understand that? He would be arrested. Okay. He'd be put in confinement. He would be deported the second time to El Salvador again, because there's no withholding order for an alien who's a member of a foreign terrorist organization, number one. Number two is the gang that he's a member of doesn't exist in El Salvador anymore. So what you're asking for is to be deported twice. But additionally, if we chose to just pretend that the withholding order was real, he would be deported to a different country. So, for example, he could be deported to Egypt. So I'm just trying to understand, is it your view, in other words, you define a country that would be willing to take a MS-13 member from El Salvador. So I'm trying to understand from you all is, so if he came back and under our laws, he was then deported to Egypt or to Somalia, would you then be saying, great, I'm so glad that you deported him to another country? Is that what you'd all be saying?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is bizarre, to say the least. It is bizarre, to say the least, that you have a mainstream media who is creating this narrative that this guy is somehow deserving of being in our country. It is bizarre that you have that. Now, what ends up happening, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, Dennis, what ends up happening is you end up with idiots like this lady from the state of Oregon, the Oregon representative, who is now talking about she's going to El Salvador to demand the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Okay, they're still going with this narrative that he was wrongfully deported. Now, he is not a legal U.S. resident. He is not, and the White House has already put out 2 different courts have said you gotta go.
Right.
You don't belong here. And I think this week, one of the most embarrassing things that happened this week was for that senator to go over there and have margaritas with an illegal alien MS-13 gang member. Okay. It's bizarre. That's all I can say is it's bizarre. We had another video. I ain't gonna harp on this, Dennis. We had another video that I'm gonna share about this. Y'all check this out.
It started. I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. I hope to meet with representatives of the government. I hope to have the chance to actually see Kilmar. I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador. How it ended. So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he was not able to make that happen. He said he needed a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he couldn't promise that either. So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Abrego Garcia, so I could just ask him how he's doing, so I could report back to his family. He said he could not arrange that. He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen. I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice? I let him know that the family has requested that. He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen.
Womp, womp, womp. The guy couldn't.
Come on, bro. Y'all got like, now he did end up getting to sit down with him. He did. It didn't still, it's not the kind of look that you want to have. You're sitting there having margaritas with an MS-13 gang member. And here's the sad part about this, Dennis. The really sad part about, here we go. I found it right here. The really sad part about this is that this is a guy whose wife put charges on him for domestic violence. We're not talking about what do you call it? An upstanding citizen. We're not talking about somebody. We're talking about an MS-13 member. Now, here's the crazy part. You live in Maryland, bro. Everybody in Maryland and everybody know that when you wear Chicago Bulls regalia, what that means.
Right.
Everybody know what that means. Now we're going to act like you don't know that the people that are wearing that regalia are MS-13. They're going to act like he wasn't hanging out with an MS-13 member. They're going to act like there's not a MS-13 informant that reported to the federal judge that the guy's an MS-13 member. We're going to act like his wife didn't post a picture with the hearts covering up his hand tattoos. We're going to act like none of that exists.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I look, man, I've been trying to do the very best I can to understand what's going on with this situation. Personally, I'm like, look, all right, whatever happened to Democrats and Republicans sitting down and talking together about this type of situation before it becomes a big, huge deal. People are trying to buy eggs. I saw gas prices going down, but people are trying to pay bills overall. And for this to become the number one issue in our news is a problem, bro. I mean, I don't understand. Like, what's wrong with Democrats and Republicans getting in the room, closing the door, and talking about how we address this situation without making it a us versus them? I get it. Trump is a very challenging person to like really get through, but at the end of the day, I would not fly to I'm not booking a flight to this country to meet with him, and I have no leverage back in my country to do absolutely nothing to change the situation. I mean, so for me personally, if I was a congressman or a senator, I would not put myself in that kind of situation if I don't have a plan with my leadership in my home country. Right? I mean, am I I don't know. Am I missing something?
I don't. I think you're as befuddled about it as I am. So here's the last thing I'll say about this, Dennis. Here's what my real issue is. It's like the Democrats are doubling down on the stupidity that cost them the 2024 election. You're not going to sit back and go, yo, you know what? Let's sit this one out. You're going to further advocate for illegal aliens. Not only that, you're going to advocate for a member of one of the most dangerous gangs in the world. So I think, man, look, they're doubling down on the stupid. That went down this week. You got one more probably going next week. We're going to take one more quick commercial break. We got one more thing to cover.
Doubling down on the stupid.
Doubling down on stupid. We're going to take one more quick commercial break. We'll be right back, y'all.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock Realty. Knock Realty provides exceptional personal service, superior customer care, while giving back 25% or more of the revenue we earn from the sale of your home to be reinvested into the local community. At Knock Realty, we believe that your care and our community come first and will always be our highest priority. Receive the most personal service when buying or selling your home at a very competitive price while making a positive impact in your community. Knock Realty.
Carry Discount and Capital Appliance Repair is your trusted partner for appliance repairs and home services. When you're dealing with a malfunctioning refrigerator, dishwasher, washer, or dryer, we have the expertise to keep you running smooth. Visit us online or call 919-468-5860 today for Carry Discount and Capital Appliance. The Urban Conservative is sponsored in part by Gyra Family Farms, providing your family with fresh meat, eggs, poultry, produce, and so much more. Visit GyraFamilyFarm.net to find out about their summer farm camp program, events and classes, and their exclusive Farm Share membership, which will give you 15% off all your purchases. Again, visit GyraFamilyFarm.net to find out more. All right, Dennis, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Weekly wrap up here on the Urban Conservative. It's only one other thing I wanted to touch on this week, bro. I'm gonna share this picture real quick. It's gonna before I get to that last thing, but I just want y'all to know that this week, this came out that a new poll shows AOC is running second behind Kamala Harris for the Democrat candidate for president in 2028. Can y'all imagine a Harris Ocasio-Cortez ticket in 2028? I would absolutely love to see that drunken ass press conference, bro. That is going to be an amazing press conference. Those events are going to be bananas. I can't wait to see it. I hope it happens. That's not really what
on the real though. On the real, is that real? Like,
it's really
considering running for president?
Look, if you look at the events that AOC has been doing with Bernie Sanders, you can see it, bro. You can see what they're trying to do. You can see the far left wing is trying to take the Democrat Party away from the establishment. You can see it.
I think it's Gavin Newsom.
They don't want Gavin, bro. They don't want Gavin. Hold on. Let me see if I can go Democrat presidential candidate 2028 poll.
I'll be shocked if it's not Gavin versus AOC. I'll be shocked. I mean, that's just
here you go. Look, and this is the most recent one. So I'm even out of pocket. This is updated on April 19th. So here you go. You got Kamala Harris with 26.7%, Pete Buttigieg with 16.6%, Ocasio-Cortez with 12.8%, Cory Booker. See where Gavin Newsom is at, bro? They don't want him. They don't want him.
Cory Booker is down below. Wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah. I mean, but Cory Booker's an idiot. I mean, he got up there and talked for 24. Like, yo, you weren't even filibustering to block a bill, bro. You were just coked up, sped up out your mind, running your trap for 24 hours. You didn't. So listen,
what do you think he got out of that? What do you think he got?
Nothing. That was straight up political theater, press time. Look at me, Spartacus moment 2.0. That's literally what that is. There's one thing that I wanted to do
because it took a long time. Okay.
Yeah, there's one thing I did want to cover though. And let me see if I can find a picture of the lady. Hold on. Angela Tucker. So y'all have this judge, right? The lady who is presiding over this case. Let me see. Open image in a new tab. Let me share this real quick. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is Judge Angela Tucker. Okay. Judge Tucker is the one that presided over the bond hearing in that Carmelo Anthony, the kid got stabbed at the track meet thing, right? Part of the reason I want to bring this up is because I've seen a lot of conservatives running off at the mouth about this lady. I've seen a lot of conservatives calling this lady a liberal. She shouldn't have did this. She shouldn't have did that. First thing y'all got to do is recognize that Judge Angela Tucker is the only black judge to ever be elected to the seat that she's in. And not only is she the first black female judge to be elected to that seat, she's a registered Republican. She won that seat as a Republican. So stop it with the she's a libtard, she's a liberal judge. I want to bring this up, Dennis, and the reason I'm bringing this up, and this has been covered by the Dallas Fort Worth, because y'all got to know what's happening, okay? You got to know what's happening.
The facts,
So,
right?
yeah, we're going to deal with the facts. Now, I don't know if this paper, the NBC, it's NBC, so we'll take it with a grain of salt, but they actually do a really good job of breaking down what happened with this bond hearing. I'm going to make this big screen because I want y'all to see what actually happened and what Judge Tucker actually did. So the hearing began at 9 a.m. Judge Tucker entered the courtroom. She glanced at the team before taking her seat. She made history in 2012 when she became the first black judge in Collins County's 170-year history. Notice they left out she's a Republican. Okay, let's not gloss over that fact. But the first black judge. The distinguished judge began the proceeding by addressing the proverbial elephant in the room, race and the need for increased security. She told the gallery that she's presided over cases involving people of all races and all walks of life and has never had the issues that security has faced like those in this case. The calls for her to her office have been constant. Fortunately, she said most people are saying they're praying for her. Tucker clarified she had nothing to do with being selected as the presiding judge. Presiding judges are randomly selected by computer in the district clerk's office. She added that 6 other judges are selected to hear district cases, and she's the only presiding over the bond hearing. So let's get that monkey out of the way. She's only presided over the bond hearing. Should the grand jury indict the defendant, the random selection process will occur again. She went on to announce that she also completed a conflict checklist to ensure that she does not know anyone involved in the case, including witnesses present during the hearing. She did preside over part of Meghan and Jeff Metcalf's divorce in 2016, but does not know either of them. Housekeeping matters aside, the hearing began. Anthony's new defense attorney, Mike Howard, announced that he would have at least one witness testify. Bill Werski, a well-known first assistant at the Collin County District's Attorney Office, announced that the state would not present any witness. Several exhibits were introduced, including the arrest report filed by the Frisco Police Department, a press release by the defendant's previous legal counsel, Billy Clark and Kim Cole, and a copy of an online fundraiser for the defendant that amassed over $412,000. Howard called Anthony's father, Andrew Anthony, to the stand, who was wearing a suit, bow tie, and glasses. Understandably nervous, he took a seat, asked to talk about his son's ties to the community, provide background on the family, their finances, and why a bond reduction was warranted. Now, keep in mind, they had the bail set out I think it was like 2.5 million or something like that. Anthony was born in Baton Rouge to Andrew and Kayla Hayes. The couple is married, 3 young children. Carmelo's the oldest. The family moved to Texas in 21, first to Irving and then to Frisco. He describes his son. He told Carmelo is an A student with plans to attend college, captain of the football and track teams, a big brother. The Anthony's family in Arlington, dad is a finance manager at a Chevy dealership, makes $72,000 a year, and is the only one working for the family, sole breadwinner. The defendant's never been in trouble. As for the family's ability to post a $1 million bond, Andrew said, "No, sir, I can't afford it." 10% of a $100 million bond would have been $100,000, but they weren't asking for that. They have no significant savings, living paycheck to paycheck, he testified. Their lease ends in June, and given hate-filled messages, the family's home address being leaked online, they're planning to move for safety and security. The defense attorney asked the judge to lower Anthony's bond to $150,000, citing the legal reasons bonds are set and how they are not meant to be oppressive or to punish individuals. Keep in mind, the attorney asked for 150. It was at $1 million. He asked for 150. If he granted bond, Anthony will be home with his parents under the eye of mom and dad. Howard told the judge there were 10 people able and willing to speak on behalf of his client. During a non-combative back and forth with Werski, Andrew was asked if his son had been in trouble at school. There had been one altercation at school this year on February 4th. He acknowledged the incident, which was not detailed in court, did not involve law enforcement. Regarding finances, Anthony's father testified that the family rents their home in a Frisco gated neighborhood, paying $3,700 a month. Werski directed Andrew to an online fundraiser where the goal had been at least once recently to $500,000. Andrew told the court he has not kept up with the fundraiser because he's been focused on his son. When it comes to access to the online fundraiser that could easily cover an estimated 10% cash surety, Andrew said they were unable to access the online account as of the hearing and were working on a solution. Someone connected to the teen's legal team had set up the account. Anthony's father said that if his bond remained at $1 million, he would likely remain in jail. Andrew said they wanted to preserve funds for the eventual trial, which would entail hiring their own experts. Back to the defense attorney. Andrew was asked about his son's employment. Works 2 jobs, Foot Locker and H-E-B. His manager at Foot Locker was in the courtroom ready to testify on his behalf. During closing arguments, Howard acknowledged this is obviously an incredibly sad situation all the way around. While it is common for bonds to be initially set at $1 million, they tend to be reduced once the case is set before a district judge. That is normal. Okay, folks? That is a normal thing. Bonds are not meant to be oppressive. It's to ensure someone shows up to court and to ensure the community is safe. Howard said that $1 million does not necessarily assure the court of compliance, given his client's lack of prior criminal history and despite the seriousness of the offense. In his closing argument to Judge Tucker, Werski calls the killing something that appeared to be unjustified, a brutal first-degree murder, wherefore, reasons unknown, Anthony brought a knife to a track meet. Metcalf's mother started to wipe tears from her eyes. To me, I don't know. This crime was shocking. I want to get to this. The time had come for the judge's ruling. In this case, this is the judge. In this case, it's important to note this court or any other criminal court, we are not courts of public opinion. This is a court of fairness and justice. Tucker shares that for the first time in 13 years, her office has received calls indicated people are praying for her. Tucker says it is unfortunate that both families have been subjected to public opinion. She stressed that she bases bond amounts solely on law. Tucker disagrees that bonds amounts should be in any way try to put a dollar amount on a life. The judge is also confident $1 million bond would not hold up on appeal. Her ruling takes several factors into account, including balancing the community safety and nature of the offense. Her ruling was therefore the bond was lowered to $250,000. So let's stop right there. Okay, let's stop right there. The family's attorney asked for $150,000. She raised that up to $250,000. So she didn't give him a walkaway bond. She did the right thing. I don't think the young man should have been sitting there under $1 million bond. That wouldn't have been right. They would have appealed that and it would have been lowered. He's on house arrest. He's got an ankle monitor. He's not going nowhere. Okay. So I want y'all to please stop calling this judge a libtard judge who let this boy out of prison because she's a liberal. This is a Republican, conservative, distinguished judge who is only overseeing the bond hearing and who I think did the right thing. We're going to leave that right there, but let us know what y'all think in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you on this issue. We're definitely going to continue to follow the case. But, bro, we got to make sure people know the facts. And that what we just read was essentially the transcript. So, no, she didn't let the kid go with a tap on the wrist. That did not happen, ladies and gentlemen. But with that, we're going to end that there. Again, get in the comments. Let us know what you think. Make sure you join us Monday night for the Urban Conservative Podcast. And then next week again for the weekly wrap up. And again, you're not going to want to miss the next one, because we got a special announcement. I'm excited about it. I know Dennis is excited about it. For my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, my man up there, Dennis English. This has been the weekly wrap up here on the Urban Conservative. Have a safe, blessed, wonderful Easter, everybody. Peace and love, y'all.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock Realty. Knock Realty provides exceptional personal service, superior customer care, while giving back 25% or more of the revenue we earn from the sale of your home to be reinvested into the local community. At Knock Realty, we believe that your care and our community come first and will always be our highest priority. Receive the most personal service when buying or selling your home at a very competitive price while making a positive impact in your community.
Carey Discount and Capital Appliance Repair is your trusted partner for appliance repairs and home services. When you're dealing with a malfunctioning refrigerator, dishwasher, washer, or dryer, we have the expertise to keep you running smooth. Visit us online or call 919-468-5860 today for Carey Discount and Capital Appliance Repair.